You probably know that you can't survive more than a few days without water, but do you know why? Water has a number of unique properties that not only make it essential to survive, but also make life possible in the first place. To better understand water, we need to know just what water is. The chemical formula for water is H2O, which means that it is made up of 2 hydrogens and 1 oxygen. These different parts of the molecule are held together by covalent bonds. Connecting water molecules to each other are hydrogen bonds, and these unique bonds are what make water so special. The hydrogen bonds in water make the molecules cohesive, which means they stick together really well. The cohesion of water is much stronger than most other liquids, and this is very important. For example, water and nutrients can be transported from tree roots to other parts of the plant with cohesion. Water also has a lot of surface tension because of its hydrogen bonds. If you look very closely at a droplet of water, it almost looks like it's coated with plastic because it holds together so well. You can see the surface tension in action if you put drops of water on a penny until a small mound forms. The reason the water doesn't spill over the edge of the coin is from the water's surface tension. Why do coastal areas tend to have more consistent temperatures throughout the year, while areas that are further inland have more extreme highs and lows? This is due to water's high specific heat capacity. Specific heat capacity is the resistance to temperature change. It takes a lot of energy to change the temperature of water because it takes a lot of energy to break the hydrogen bonds. Water absorbs and stores a large amount of heat from the sun, and as it cools, it releases this heat into the air that travels onto land. So in the winter, when the air is colder than the water, the air literally picks up the water's heat as it passes over it onto land and warms it. Likewise, in the summer, when the air is hotter than the water, the air cools off as it travels past the ocean to land and cools the shore. This is what helps keep moderate temperatures in coastal regions throughout the year. Water's high specific heat capacity also keeps ocean temperatures fairly moderate, which is important to marine life because they can only survive within a certain range of temperatures. It also helps moderate your body temperature because you are mostly water. When you get too hot, your body cools down by releasing water through pores in your skin. This heat from your sweat, which is mostly water, is removed by the air, much like the heat from the ocean along the coast. As the heat is removed, you become cooler, and this process is called evaporative cooling. We can find water on Earth in 3 different forms: solid, liquid, and gas. Most things become more dense when they cool because their molecules are condensing together, and become less dense when they heat up because their molecules are moving farther apart from each other. Do you think water behaves like this? It sure doesn't. When water becomes cooler and freezes, it actually expands because each water molecule connects to its neighboring water molecules with hydrogen bonds. This creates a crystal-shaped structure between the molecules, which spreads them out and increases the volume. And since this makes ice less dense, this means it floats on top of water. So what's the big deal? Well, the fact that frozen water is less dense than liquid water is what allows life to exist on Earth. If ice were more dense than liquid water, it would sink, and every body of water, including the oceans, would eventually freeze over and become solid ice. If this happened, every living thing in the oceans, lakes, and rivers on Earth would die. But because ice floats, it essentially creates a blanket over the water below it, which insulates it and prevents that water from freezing. This means that all those things living in the water live through the winter. Water is a great solvent, which means it is able to dissolve things very well. This is because water is a polar molecule. A polar molecule is like a magnet. One end of the molecule is negatively charged, and one end is positively charged. Remember when I said that your body is mostly water? This is really important, because this means it can dissolve an incredible variety of things. You take in nutrients in all shapes and forms, and your cells use water to dissolve these ions and proteins. Water is also the solvent in your blood and in plant sap. As you can see, the uses of water as a solvent are quite varied. The unique properties of water support life on Earth as we know it, and because life can't exist without water, this helps us know whether life can exist on other planets. Water is exactly what scientists look for when they are trying to find evidence of life elsewhere in space. In fact, NASA scientists have found evidence that Mars did have quite a bit of water in the past. When the composition of rocks on Mars was analyzed, it was found that there was a mineral present that only exists when water is also present. Pictures have also shown features on Mars' surface that support the past existence of water. We do not yet know if life has ever existed on Mars or other planets, but we do know that even though it is a very unique substance, water is not unique to Earth. Water, also known by the chemical formula H2O, is composed of 2 hydrogen atoms and 1 oxygen atom. Its hydrogen bonds make water more cohesive than most other liquids, as well as give water a high level of surface tension. Water also has a high specific heat capacity, or resistance to temperature change, and it's a polar solvent, which means it dissolves things well. Additionally, water is unique in that it's less dense in solid form than as a liquid. This quality allows for the existence of life on Earth because it prevents bodies of water, including oceans, from freezing over.